I learned loyalty from wounds that never closed, from promises written in blood, not in words, from staying when every reason whispered to leave, from choosing you even when I was breaking inside. Loyalty is not comfort, it is endurance. It is standing in storms with a torn umbrella. It is holding a hand that no longer holds back. It is smiling while the heart is quietly bleeding. I stayed when silence replaced your laughter. I stayed when your eyes stopped searching for mine. I stayed when your voice became a stranger and your warmth turned into winter. Loyalty is a slow fire, burning without light, warming others while it turns itself to ash. It never complains, it never asks. It only gives until there is nothing left. I defended you in rooms where you never stood. I protected your name while mine was being broken. I carried your honor like a fragile glass, even when you shattered me without apology. Loyalty through pain is a lonely road. Flowers do not grow there, only thorns remember. Every step costs a piece of the soul, yet the feet keep moving out of faith, not hope. I swallowed words to protect your peace. I buried questions to save your comfort. I learned to cry without sound, so your sleep would remain undisturbed. You never saw the wars inside my chest, the nights where I argued with my own heart, the moments where I chose you over myself, again and again without witness. Loyalty is not blind, it sees everything. It just chooses to endure anyway. It recognizes betrayal, feels it deeply, but still kneels in the temple of patience. I was loyal when it hurt to breathe, loyal when dignity begged me to leave, loyal when self-respect packed its bags, and pride stood at the door in tears. My loyalty was not weakness, it was strength misunderstood. It was love that refused to become poison, even when poisoned again and again. I stitched your mistakes into my silence, so the world would never see your flaws. I became the wall between you and judgment, and let every stone fall on me instead. Loyalty through pain teaches strange lessons. How to smile with broken teeth, how to stand with shaking knees, how to love with a bleeding heart. I did not stay because I was afraid to leave. I stayed because my soul made a promise, and my soul does not break contracts, even when the body is exhausted. There were nights I whispered your name like a prayer, asking God to fix what you refused to heal. There were mornings I woke up tired of being strong, yet still wore loyalty like a crown. You never asked for this level of devotion, but my heart does not know half measures. It either loves completely or not at all, and once it chooses, it never retreats. Loyalty through pain is invisible. No one applauds it, no one records it. It lives in quiet sacrifices and dies in silent corners of the heart. I became the shelter in your storms, even when I had no roof of my own. I became your peace in chaos, even when my own world was collapsing. You leaned on me and I did not move, even when your weight was crushing my ribs. I let you rest on my broken shoulders and called it love, not burden. Loyalty is staying when the magic is gone, when the sparkle fades, when the effort is one-sided. It is choosing commitment over convenience and depth over ease. I was loyal in your absence, in your coldness, in your indifference. I was loyal when you forgot me and when remembering me became optional. Loyalty through pain is a quiet hero. It saves relationships that never deserved saving. It gives chances where none are earned and forgives where there is no remorse. I forgave you without hearing sorry. I healed you without receiving thanks. I stood by you without being acknowledged and still called it honor. My loyalty was a candle in your darkness, slowly melting, quietly shrinking, lighting your way while shortening my own, until there was almost nothing left. I protected your image like sacred glass, even when you cracked mine repeatedly. I hid your wrongs behind my silence and paid the price in misunderstanding. Loyalty is choosing pain over regret,
it over guilt, suffering over shame.
It is carrying someone else's sins, just so they can walk lighter. I was loyal when you doubted me, when you tested me, when you questioned my worth. I remained when leaving would have been easier, because loyalty does not follow ease. Loyalty through pain changes a person. It deepens the eyes, quiets the smile. It adds weight to the voice and wisdom to the silence. I became older inside, faster than time, because loyalty ages the heart quickly. It teaches endurance before youth is finished, and patience before innocence is gone. You never saw how heavy you were, not in body but in responsibility, not in presence but in emotional weight, yet I carried you without complaint. Loyalty is not dramatic. It is steady, not loud, but unbreakable, not flashy, but faithful, not easy but eternal. I stayed when you gave me reasons not to. I trusted when you gave me doubts. I believed when you gave me lies, and hoped when you gave me nothing. Loyalty through pain is a contract signed in tears, sealed with endurance, delivered in silence. It does not expire with hardship. It only strengthens. I chose you in rooms where no one knew, in decisions no one witnessed, in sacrifices no one applauded, and in pain no one shared. Even now, if asked, I would protect your name, because loyalty does not switch sides. Even when the heart has scars, and the memories still burn. I do not regret being loyal. I regret that loyalty was not returned. I regret loving with depth in a shallow world, and giving oceans to someone with a cup. But still, I would choose loyalty again, even knowing the pain, because disloyalty costs more than suffering, and betrayal is heavier than wounds. Loyalty through pain is my language, my religion, my discipline, my curse. It is how I love, how I stand, how I endure, even when everything inside begs to fall. Loyalty through pain is a silent vow, made in the chambers of the heart, where no witnesses stand, and no applause ever comes. It is choosing to stay in a burning house, because someone you love is still inside, even when the smoke is stealing your breath, and the flames are eating your courage. I watched myself disappear slowly, piece by piece, sacrifice by sacrifice, until even my shadow looked tired, yet I kept standing for you. Loyalty is not about being seen. It is about being steady. It is about remaining when the world says leave, and holding on when logic says let go. I carried your burdens like they were mine, your fears like they were my own, your mistakes like my responsibility, and your pain like my inheritance. You never asked me to do this, but loyalty does not wait for permission. It acts because the heart commands, and the soul obeys without question. There were days I wanted to scream, nights I wanted to disappear, moments I wanted to choose myself, but loyalty whispered, stay. So I stayed, with broken hope, with tired faith, with bleeding patience. I stayed when your care became careless, when your love became routine, when your presence became distant, and your promises became weak. Loyalty is a strange kind of bravery. It fights battles no one sees. It survives storms no one hears, and it bleeds in places no one knows. I learned to smile with a cracked heart, to laugh with a wounded soul, to be strong with empty hands, and to love with exhausted breath. Loyalty through pain teaches humility. It bends pride until it kneels. It softens ego until it disappears, and it trains the heart in surrender. I defended you even when you were wrong. I justified you even when you were cruel. I believed in you even when you doubted yourself, and I trusted you even when you failed me. That is loyalty, not perfection, not fairness, just persistence. That I became the safe place you never protected, the constant you never secured, the loyalty you never earned, and the stability you never offered back. Loyalty is not a contract of benefit. It is a covenant of character. It does not change with mood, and it does not leave with inconvenience. I stood by you in your weakest moments, when the world judged and walked away. I saw your flaws and stayed anyway, because loyalty sees and still loves. Loyalty through pain is quiet forgiveness. Again and again, without ceremony, without speeches, without conditions, just a heart choosing mercy. I forgave your silence, your distance, your neglect, your forgetting. I forgave the way you took me for granted, the way you assumed I would always be there, The way you never looked back to check if I was still standing. And I was, always, still. Loyalty is carrying love like a burden, and never complaining about the weight. It is serving without being served, and giving without being given. I became your shadow, not your spotlight, your support, not your priority, your strength, not your choice, yet I remained without resentment. Loyalty through pain builds silent warriors, people who fight without recognition, who suffer without display, and who love without demand. I did not need you to praise me. I did not need you to notice. I only needed you to be true, but even that was too much to ask. Still, I stayed, because loyalty is stubborn. It does not bend easily. It does not quit quickly, and it does not leave quietly. I held your secrets like sacred texts, never letting them escape my lips. I guarded your dignity with my silence, even when you stripped mine publicly. That is loyalty through pain, protecting someone who does not protect you, covering someone who exposes you, staying with someone who abandons you emotionally. I did not love you halfway. I did not commit in parts. I gave you my whole heart, even when you offered me pieces. Loyalty is not about being treated right. It is about being true, even when treated wrong, even when treated lightly. I was loyal when you doubted me, when you misunderstood me, when you accused me, and when you ignored me. My loyalty did not depend on your behavior. It depended on my character, and my character does not change with seasons, or with moods, or with pain. Loyalty through pain makes you strong in silence, and tired in crowds, teaches you to suffer alone, and smile among people. I became the person who says, I'm fine, even when everything inside is collapsing, because loyalty teaches you to hide storms, so others can enjoy the sunshine. You never saw the cost of my staying, the battles I fought with myself, the pride I swallowed, the dignity I sacrificed. But loyalty is not done for applause. It is done for conscience. It is done because leaving would betray the heart, and staying, though painful, feels right. I chose loyalty when it hurt, when it drained, when it weakened, when it broke, because loyalty through pain is not weakness. It is discipline of the soul. It is strength under control. It is love under pressure.